Gamers, today I bring you the opposite of breaking news. I guess actually it's broken news. I'm slacking on this one, but some of the eagle-eyed viewers amongst you might have noticed this pop up, a new listing on SteamDB, Lion's Arch Guild Wars Arena. A private playtest. Very interesting. What on earth could this be? So, there's a couple of details here. You might have heard people saying that, oh, it's a card game. You might think, why are people saying it's a card game? Well, there's actually a couple of reasons for that. So, first of all, the size of this game is low. It's just like, I think, just over a gigabyte or something like that. So, it's not a particularly large game. Right? Which is kind of like something that's kind of suggesting that a little bit. But also, there is this listing that kind of popped up here as well for a Guild Wars IP CCG collectible card game from NCSoft. So that's kind of where that speculation is coming from. And there has always been rumors about this. Like, oh, they're doing a card game. Oh, they're doing this. Oh, they should do Polymock, right? They should do the Polymock game there as well. And it is actually worth noting that we don't even know if this is being developed by ArenaNet. Of course, this is an NC listing, and there is some separation there. It's not entirely clear how that's going. This could simply be a separate developer using the Guild Wars IP for an additional product. But you also are aware that Guild Wars 2 are indeed, ArenaNet themselves are cooking up some other stuff, right? The rumors of Guild Wars 3 are abounding, and who knows, maybe they've also got a hand in this as well. Now, what I think here is quite interesting regarding this, that I really want to talk about, is that card game, huh? I'm not a card game player. Really, I've never been into Hearthstone or any of those types of things, or even the real-life things. And to me, releasing a card game is very interesting, and it's leading me to think that ArenaNet or NC are going to do a bit of a different spin on it, because it really feels like to me that the age of the card game is almost in the past a little bit at this point, right? It's a very saturated market, in my opinion, and many have attempted to dethrone the dominant players. You know, hell, even Valve tried this, right? And that didn't really go very well for them whatsoever with Artifact, right? Okay, the only thing that game was a way to illegally stream movies on Twitch, right? That's what that was. So a card game on its own is a little bit weird, because I feel like that genre has almost been replaced a little bit by auto battlers, like the auto chess style games, right? They originate with the Dota auto chess, and now you've got stuff like TFT that's kind of popping up, all that good stuff. Hearthstone Battlegrounds also a little bit similar to this. And I am a little bit suspicious that potentially this is going to be a bit of a hybrid approach, actually. Like, you know, kind of combining the idea of collecting things, right, in the same way that you'd collect miniatures and collect Polymock pieces in Guild Wars 1, with some of the concepts of, you know, the auto battler, right? Like, you can, like, send your NPC out and it will, like, fight, potentially. Maybe you've got some level of control over how it actually plays out. It's Arena, Lion's Arch, Guild Wars Arena, that sounds competitive, that sounds PvP, right? And of course, there'll be multiple game modes, right? There always are with these things. But I think we might actually have a bit of an interesting spin on the genre. Who knows? Maybe that's insane copium, but I really hope it is, because I'm struggling to see a world where a card game does super well, right, in the current market, in kind of the current state of the games industry. And yeah, it could be like, yeah, a bit of an RPG component in there as well, although the small size of this test, again, it could just be like a very small portion of the game, so maybe there is more to it. But I'm definitely really interested to see what's actually going on here, and of course the degree that ArenaNet is involved, because that kind of brings me on to my next point here. This is very fascinating to me for another reason that we're seeing this. Of course, like, this game is probably not going to be released anytime soon. This is an early playtest that's going on here, and it will, you know, probably progress and end up being, you know, tested more, eventually, like, probably some kind of, like, beta and so on that maybe will be allowed to. It will be announced in a formal way and so on. But what's interesting here is that we've always known that ArenaNet has struggled with having all its eggs in one basket. Of course, we had Guild Wars 1, and then we moved to Guild Wars 2, right? And then, in the background, kind of during the Path of Fire and Season 4 era, ArenaNet were trying to develop other games, right? There was, you know, a whole bunch of different projects, even like the Dune MMO or something like that was kind of on the cards, but none of that worked out, leading to tragic layoffs at the company, regrettably, and of course, a changing of the guard in terms of the leadership there as well. Like, this is a very interesting sign, in my mind, that, yeah, we're kind of getting to the point where that is succeeding, potentially, where existing, like, new products alongside Guild Wars 2 could be released, at least, you know, if not by ArenaNet, then by NC, kind of attached to that Guild Wars IP. And the fact that, again, there are these kind of rumblings about even a sequel to Guild Wars 2, it's a pretty spicy development in the way the studio is. The studio is evolving. The studio is trying to move away from being a mono game studio and wants to branch out a little bit, which realistically, if we're being honest, guys, let's actually be honest, it's probably for the good of the studio. And I think that there is some valid grumbling to be had that, like, oh, I wish they'd just go all in on Guild Wars 2. And you know, honestly, I'd kind of put myself in that category, actually, as a Guild Wars 2 enjoyer. You know, like, when we went to the new expansion model, I was kind of hoping for, like, oh, yeah, let's go big. We are back. Grouch is here. He's saving the day. We're going all in. But, you know, let's be honest, that's probably not the best long-term business strategy for a game studio, especially when, you know, the product, Guild Wars 2, is already aging. I mean, look at the MMOs on the market. They're all creaking from old age at this point. They're stuck together with glue, right? That's, you know, not just Guild Wars, like World of Warcraft and 14, all these games, right? They're all not exactly spring chickens, are they, in terms of their age? So you want to have other products on the market, too. And I think this is very interesting to see. And even though I'm not particularly a card game enjoyer and not an auto battle enjoyer, I'll definitely be interested to see what they've cooked up, you know, because, like, ArenaNet, this is what they do well. What ArenaNet do well here is they are good at innovating, right? Like, if we're being honest, if you look at Guild Wars 2 and why it succeeded as a game, it's because ArenaNet do have a bit of spark of creativity. They're not afraid to bring new ideas to the table. And, you know, part of why many of these genres are a bit stale is because there aren't new ideas being brought into them. And even though I would rather see them develop a different genre that is kind of more catered towards my interest in gaming, I think it's going to be really cool to see if they actually have something cooked up here. And see if they have something new to the table and see if they can continue that into other projects, right? Because, you know, going for a card game is probably one of the lower investment options to go for, if you think about it right. It's not going to be as colossal as, say, developing an entirely new RPG, and certainly nowhere near to developing an entire MMO, right? Like, that's an entirely different thing, of course. On top of that, so it's going to be one of these things like, will it work out? How's it going to go? Right? Like, have ArenaNet, have they still got it? Can they still make something spicy? But yeah, I guess that is actually that's the broken news. That's the slug news, the snail mail, okay, arriving into your YouTube feed right now. We absolutely love to see that. But anyway, I'm really curious, you know, especially those who are big card game enjoyers. If you're a big card game enjoyer, like, let me know what you actually think about this idea. Like, what could ArenaNet bring to the table? What could Lion's Arch Guild Wars Arena, okay, deliver that's maybe lacking in the industry right now? Okay, that's what I want to know. Like, are you guys hyped for this game? Are you interested in this game? And what are our thoughts on this? Definitely leave your comments down below. Stay tuned for more content, guys. Hit the subscribe button, okay? Boom. Do it. Okay, comment, like, subscribe. You know what to do. But anyway, that's it for this little news update video. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.